Welcome to another episode of Technical Earth Syndicate, where war never changes. I'm Michael Buffington.
I'm Chris Stewart.
This is episode 33 for October 11th, 2013. And we also have a guest!
What's up?
It's Mike Ross!
Yeah. Mike Ross.
Mike Ross.
Who?
Mike Ross. Mike Ross. Those who have been longtime listeners have maybe heard him on a few podcasts. I think a few of them recently, anyway. So
Yeah.
He's a cool guy, aren't you, Mike Ross?
Betcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on the overview of the show, we got a pretty cool thing. We're going to do a pre-show talk about what we've been doing. I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty short because we've been doing the same things for the past week. We're going to be doing a topic attack with the worst boss battles we've ever played. So that's a cool discussion we're going to have. We're also going to have another discussion about how technology has affected our life. So stay tuned. So Chris, what have you been up to?
Not a whole lot. Been playing a bit of Kingdom Hearts HD, and
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
You did say that on our last show that you were going to do that this weekend.
I did. I do what I say I'm going to do, and
Awesome.
You're a liar.
yeah. And the last couple of days I've been obsessing over Magic 2014.
Oh yeah.
So thanks for that.
Yeah.
Magic.
It's I haven't been addicted to Magic in a long time, but oh man, it's a good game.
You know what? I've never played that game.
You need to.
Is it still on sale for $5?
I do.
No, it's not on sale. It's backed up to 9. So
Still worth it, I think. You ought to pick it up.
Squag.
yeah. So you just been doing Kingdom Hearts and Magic.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I've been still watching Breaking Bad. Remember I said I was almost to the 3rd season on the last episode? Well, I'm on season 5 now.
Dang.
Yeah, so a whole week of just watching Breaking Bad. I did play some Wind Waker. I picked that up last Friday, and it is a beautiful game. Oh my gosh. Like, Nintendo outdid themselves by reinventing this game, technically. You know, it's the same game. It's just higher texture quality, and I don't understand what they did, but it looks like a normal standard game today. It really does. The only thing that I can see that is a little bit different, like that, normal games have that have been worked on longer and is not just a port of an old game, is the shadow quality was a little bit down if you want to get nitpicky with it. But other than that, like, I'm so impressed with this game. It is overly bloomed, like, the effect bloom.
Yeah.
It's like J.J. Abrams got a hand, hold of it, and it was like, I'm just gonna bloom everything.
Oh, that's lens flare.
No lens. Oh, there might be lens flare, but it's mostly just bloom. It's like his new thing is blooming everything. So, but no, I've been doing that and watching Breaking Bad. It's been awesome, man. Like, I'm really enjoying that show, and as you said, we're also playing Magic 2014, which is. It's really fun, even though I got my ass handed to me by Chris the other night.
Yeah, it was kind of
by luck.
It was kind of embarrassing for you, I think.
Whatever.
So is it like a card game, or how does it play?
It's a card game.
Yeah, just like the Magic card game. Okay.
Yeah, Magic the Gathering.
You even get booster packs, and you get to lay them all out and look at them just like real life.
Oh,
yeah, this
nice.
one's like the first Magic game I think you can actually create a deck, which is really cool. So,
dude, I gotta get into this game.
Yes, you do. It's very fun. No microtransactions involved unless you buy all the DLC, which is like unlocks and stuff like that. So you pretty much can earn packs of cards, booster packs, to further your deck on one of the modes. What is that called? Sealed mode, isn't it? Yeah. But that's all I've been doing. Hopefully next week I'll have some more of what I've been doing. Hopefully I've been playing games, which I haven't been doing much of lately. So we'll see. Mike, what have you been up to? I don't really know when the last episode you were on, but what have you been doing this week? That's a better question.
Just got back from saving the world. No kidding. Actually, in all seriousness, I'm actually getting ready to go deploy here.
No.
In December. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "That's OpSec. I didn't say when in December, and it could be January. It could be November." Oh, yeah. So anyway,
Could
but
be
anyway,
to the moon.
yeah, right. Could be into Endor, the Death Star. But yeah, so just getting ready to do that and doing a bunch of I don't know, like out processing and
Wait a minute. Are you saying
training and
our military is formed of stormtroopers?
yes,
Huh. Well, that's pretty cool.
we actually work for the Empire. Yes.
Can I join?
Well, you have to.
All of a sudden,
there's
it sounds a lot.
initiation.
All of a sudden, it sounds a lot more appealing.
I know, right?
Well, how good are you at shooting, Mike?
I'm
Well,
about the same way as a like a stormtrooper. No, just kidding.
pretty bad. So yeah, I think I'd
Yeah.
fit
Hey,
in.
probably good.
Right? But yeah, not too bad. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging though.
Are you you been gaming much?
Actually, I think the latest thing that I bought was the new Splinter Cell with not Michael Ironside's voice, whatever the new guy's voice is. Yeah, Matt.
How is
my
that?
brother just good actually. It's I'm actually kind of looking forward to playing the multiplayer a little bit more. But my brother Matt, he's like in the process of moving, so they get their internet. I think like in the next few days.
Is the multiplayer supposed to be kind of like the last one that we played, where you're playing two separate guys instead of Sam Fisher?
Yeah, like the cool thing too is they integrated it into the actual story this time. So like if you actually play the game, you can do like the regular story mode, which is like this big anti-American like plot where like you're trying to shut this whole thing down and sleuth around and find stuff. But then you could do side missions with like the other characters that are in the game. To, like help them like go do something, and that's how you play like multiplayer.
Chris,
For,
that
like,
might
co-op.
that might be worth checking out on the I don't want to say winter sale because I probably won't be able to buy anything, but sometime.
Yeah, maybe. Didn't
pretty
they
good.
also bring back the Spies versus Mercs thing from
They
Chaos Theory?
did. They did, and it's very fun.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It might be a good pickup for cheap for me. I'm still a little bummed that they couldn't use the guy's
Good cheap
voice.
pickup.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, well, that's pretty awesome. Anything else? No. Nothing?
Just I don't know, just hanging out, having fun.
Hanging out,
With
man.
family. Yep.
We all need to play Damned. Chris,
You.
did you buy that yet?
Not yet, but I will tonight, probably.
It better be bought by the time the show is out. We are playing that this weekend, and we are going to record it for hopefully some Halloween videos for our YouTube.
Dude, this is gonna be awesome. Dude, if Matt gets his internet, yes, because we'll get some great reactions out of that kid.
I'm probably
Dude,
gonna.
there's so many stories I could tell you. Like when we were both kids, like I used to shut off the lights on him when he'd be playing like Doom 3, and he'd be like, guys.
To,
And then like if I saw some kind of like something was coming up, I'd go jump on him and he'd freak out.
Wait a minute, he plays
Stuff.
Doom 3 with the lights on?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
to kind of
this is-
explain what Damned is, though, to our listeners, it's a early access game on Steam, indie game, and it's kind of like Amnesia, wouldn't you say, Chris?
Yeah,
A
sort of
little
like
bit.
that.
You have to solve puzzles and try to get out of this house and survive, but it's a co-op game. That's the thing, and Amnesia wasn't. So you have, I think, 5 players. 4 of them are survivors, kind of like Left 4 Dead style, and 1 person playing the demon or the monster or whatever. And
Slender Man.
if when you're the demon, I watched a video play of it. It looks so scary because the co-op players have no idea what's going on, and all of a sudden, randomly, one of their players can be taken and killed, and that's it. So it's about
And they can't fight back either, right? It's like Amnesia, you can't fight.
Yeah, I think you have to run, solve puzzles, block doors, that kind of stuff. So it looks fun, and I want to play.
Man, I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome.
All right,
Can't
so
wait.
hopefully we'll have some videos for you guys on our YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Next up is Topic Attack.
I had known there'd have to be a catch in it somewhere, and this one was the Empire State Building of catches. Levino was pumped up and dying to go 15 rounds with a mutant alligator. And then he started this spooky monkey talk, straight from a bad dream. Mine.
I have tasted the flesh of fallen angels. I've tasted the devil's green blood. It runs in my veins. I've seen beyond a world of skin, the architecture of blood and bow and arrow. Death is coming! She is coming. and hell follows with her. This is the twilight winter. I am ready to be her son. Her time is now, and all who stand in her way must die!
All right, so this time on Topic Attack, we're talking about our top 10 hardest bosses, the ones that made us rage the most.
Break your controller! Or keyboard.
Worst ones ever.
Yeah, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to start off from, pretty hard but not so bad, and then the last one is going to be, punch the screen and throw your controller, all kinds of good
Scream, and stick controllers
Yo,
up your
babies.
butt. What?
What?
You guys ever watch that video?
Yeah, that was based on me.
Oh, okay. I can't beat it.
We're just too big.
Oh, sorry. The show's rated PG-13. Oh, okay.
Anyway,
Anyway. Chris, why don't you begin?
All right, so
With your your least aggressive boss that you could say, hey, it was okay, but still not the greatest.
right, so starting out is going to be Murai, which is the first boss on Ninja Gaiden from
Okay.
not the original Ninja Gaiden, but the newer one from started out on Xbox and stuff.
The first Xbox Ninja Gaiden one?
Yeah,
Okay, that one.
yeah.
All right.
He was the first boss in the game, and I never got past him.
Oh, the first boss?
The
Dude, that
first
game
boss.
was hard in general, so I
Yeah.
don't blame you.
Yeah.
He's actually probably not that hard compared to the rest of the game. But the first time I tried to play the game, I started playing it, trying to play like a Devil May Cry kind of game, and it's
Oh.
and if you try to play it like that, you're pretty much gonna die immediately. You gotta block a lot and
Okay.
take your time.
That sounds about right, man.
Yeah, I think if I try to play it again, I'll probably be able to beat it. Next up was Ouroboros Wesker from Resident Evil 5. I think you can kind of share with me on that, Mike.
Yeah.
And,
Which one was that? The last fight?
yeah, when he like the last fight in the volcano.
Yeah. Ah.
And that's another one. He's not terribly hard, but mostly you were failing at the QTEs, punching boulders and stuff.
Screw that boss fight. It was terrible. And then this whipping thing at the end. No. Screw that boss. I hated it.
Yeah,
One
you
of my-
took too long punching boulders, and then I would just immediately get knocked into the lava, and we'd have to keep doing that over and over. And then the end fight, we couldn't figure out that we had to like trigger another QTE to finish him off. Like we had to go up and hit him with our knives or some stupid stuff.
That was a terrible fight.
Yeah, we kept unloading all of
you
our
know what that
ammo, and
makes me-
he wouldn't die, and we would just be running out of bullets.
Yep, I remember that. Okay.
Uh,
Progress on.
Next one was
Makes me think of-
Necron from Final Fantasy IX.
Really?
Yeah, he kind of just came out of nowhere, which is annoying. Nowhere in the story until at the very end. But and for me, I was probably just underleveled. But immediately, right from the get-go, he casts every status ailment in the game against you. And I guess you have to have some abilities to block all those, but even though, and then you can't block all of them, and so you got to have some other equipment or potions or something to get rid of it all.
He was pretty hard. It was you really had to grind in earlier Final Fantasy games to progress through the bosses. I mean, you still have to do that, but I think once you hit that main level, you could get him fast. But he's still an annoying boss. So.
But yeah, other than that, I've never beaten Final Fantasy IX. I've gotten him. I couldn't never beat him.
Yeah.
Next was the Mecha Dragon from Mega Man 2. This one was one of those moving levels, and
Oh.
it's
Yes, I
completely
hate that
black
guy.
screen. It's a completely black screen, and it's constantly moving, and it's got these timed platforms that you have to be constantly jumping from, and they'll appear and disappear. And he's like shooting fireballs and stuff at you the whole time. It's a pain.
Oh, I hate that guy.
Yeah.
I never actually got that far in Mega Man 2 because that game made me want to throw a controller on the first level. So, no.
I've never
No, I
understood
recently
people
bought
complaining about
Mega
how,
Man 1 and I was going to get 2 on the Wii U and play those, but I have more patience
So
now, I
hard.
guess. So,
I've never
So-
understood how people complain so much the Mega Man games are so hard. I just Nowadays, I can't beat him as easily as I used to. But
Yeah.
the next one was from Metal Gear Solid 2. In the story, it comes up near the end where they have like 20 mass-produced Metal Gear Ray units. But unless you're on extreme mode, you only fight maybe 3 or 4 of them. But on extreme difficulty, you fight all 20 of them.
Tell that to the Metal Gear Solid collection that recently came out. I fought more than that on normal difficulty. So
Really?
Yeah, man.
I thought it only
No,
went up to 20 on
I fought more than no, not 20 sound right, but more. It was like 6 or 7 for normal difficulty.
Yeah, normal it starts out at like 5 or 6, and then it ramps up, and then once you get hit extreme, you're fighting all 20 of them.
Yeah, I heard it's terrible.
Yeah, it's more of a grueling fight than difficult though. Yeah. It's just like a long, like drawn out fight, and
completely unneeded in that game, honestly.
Yeah, they attack a lot more frequently, and there's a shorter window for counterattacking because you got to knock out the knees, and then you got to shoot them in the face, and you're just constantly dodging bullets, and then the other ones are shooting rockets from off screen, and then there's one walking around trying to stomp on you. It's just a pain.
Nope, don't like it.
Yeah, this one was I was kind of going back and forth on making him one of the top 3, but I decided there are harder ones. It's Seth from Street Fighter 4. And
yes.
With an honorable mention, or would it be dishonorable? What would you say? But Jinpachi from Tekken 5 and Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat, the newer one. It was kind of a 3-1 tie between them. But what makes Seth just that much more terrible is he's one of those super cheap and really cliche bosses that has all the best moves from all the other characters, and you can't block them really. This jerk has freaking Dulcine's teleport. He's got Ryu's Shoryuken, Chun-Li's lightning kicks and head stomp move, Vega's wall jump, and his grab is Zangief's spinning pile driver.
Chris, you're making me hate fighting games even more.
And just like any other cheap fighting game end boss, his AI will just read your inputs and react impossibly fast. And it really forces you to play cheaply, with like turtling. You're gonna sit in the corner and block the whole time, and you're gonna be doing your projectile spam. And
it's like me versus my brother every day.
Yeah,
I like that game.
Yeah, it's really not a fun way to beat a game.
Nope.
Yeah. Number 7 was Sigma from Mega Man X4. He's got 3 forms, and every one of them, you have really small windows to dodge his attacks, and it's pretty easy to run out of your weapon energy for all of his weaknesses. And by the end of it, you're just, you're down to like your last 10 shots, and you gotta time it you gotta time it right, or you're gonna run out of your weapons, and you're gonna have to use your buster, and you're gonna be doing 1 hit point of damage, and it's not fun. Next was the Phantom from Kingdom Hearts. You fight him in the Peter Pan level with the Big Ben and stuff. He's that big ghost deal.
Oh, that should have been on my list, but it isn't. I'll let you have it because, that was a terrible fight, man.
Yeah, right away he casts Doom on you, and you got to stop the clock. You got to use your stop spell to slow that down, and he's only vulnerable to certain spells at certain times. And for like me, I kind of favored the melee combat in that game. I didn't focus on the magic very hard. And
the last boss on Kingdom Hearts as well was pretty terrible, but not as bad. That one was bad.
Yeah, if you're not the one who if you don't focus on your magic in that game in that beginning choice, then it's that much harder, and only a madman's gonna sacrifice your defense. Next up was Ornstein and Smough from Dark Souls 2. I don't know if you got that far, Mike.
Nope.
No.
I don't
you
know
fight,
who that is.
It's 2 bosses. You fight them both at the same time in a really tight area. You're like in this really small room with little pillars, and Smough is a big guy with like a hammer, and he's chasing you around, knocking down pillars and stuff. And Ornstein is like a smaller dude, but he's faster, and he's got lightning spells that he's shooting at you all the time. And usually one of them is attacking you at any time, and so you've got very little chance to kind of counterattack that. And
How many times did you die in that boss battle?
A lot.
Oh yeah, good times.
I would if I got that far, even if I did, I would have quit there instead of the place that I was at.
And even better, when one of them dies, the other one gets his powers.
Oh
no,
gosh.
that's terrible.
Yeah. So the smaller dude, Ornstein, he gets bigger, but he keeps his lightning spells and his speed. And Smough, when you kill Ornstein, Smough will just crush him with his hammer, and he'll get his lightning powers.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
It's horrible,
It
dude.
does.
I almost put the Spider Queen boss in that one.
Oh, from Demon?
Yeah,
Okay.
but this one was just that
Is
much
this
worse.
You're on your top one, right?
Yeah, this is my top one now,
Okay.
and it's Virgil from Devil May Cry 3.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very frustrating.
Yeah, and in a way, the Ornstein Smough battle is harder, but with Virgil, it's just if you make a
Possible?
mistake, he'll just it's definitely possible. But if you make a mistake, you're punished pretty quickly. And Virgil will heal in Virgil's going to heal himself in Devil Trigger mode, which is really frustrating. But like I said, it's not the hardest boss battle ever of all time, but it's definitely one of the most rewarding boss battles I've ever played, and it's
And
one
also
of my favorite
punishing
ones.
from the sounds of it too.
Yeah.
Punishing and
Yeah.
rewarding all at the same time.
yeah.
Oh,
When you
no.
beat it, it's like yes, and
Mhm.
good stuff, and it's one of my
Okay.
favorite boss battles.
Good picks, man. Like
Yeah.
those are really good picks. I'll say a
very
couple
good,
of them were on my list, but we'll talk about that when I get to me.
There's-
Mike, how about your next up? Go ahead.
Okay, I'm next. Yeah, well, like I said, that was lots of good points, and I actually have a few of them also on my list. But number 10 for me, I don't know how good you guys remember for like old school games, but back on the old Atari, and it was also like an arcade shooter too. Do you remember the game Sinistar? Anybody?
No.
Okay, well, Sinistar, it's this. It's a really old, like, 360-degree scrolling game where you were this little spaceship in space, and these little guys flew around and tried to collect these little particles from like asteroids, and they would build this thing called Sinistar, and it talked. And
Oh, I remember
Back
him.
in the
He's
day-
like, I hunger, run.
yes, that's the guy. That's the one. So yeah, so like, if you die, like when you're collecting all the little parts and stuff, you die, and then like they auto steal it from you, and then like you have like your, you know how like in Super Mario the first one,
Hmm.
it showed how many lives you have, and then it started the game. Well, it would do the same thing, for this game, but it would also show like a progress, stage of Sinistar being built, and he's just this giant face. And yeah, it was annoying because like he all of a sudden would be finished, even if he kept dying. It just made him get built faster, and then he just chases you around and trolls you, and you can't kill him unless you like drop bombs like as he comes after you. And if you get too close to him, he just sucks you in and like chomp, and you're dead, and then you lose.
So terribly hard on that one.
I hate that
Kind of
guy.
like the Yeti in that Windows 98 skiing game.
Yeah, exactly.
I never figured out how to
Stuffs
beat him,
him
by
in
the
there.
way, or if you even can.
I figured it out. What you do is you let him, he like eats you, and then you just, fart in his mouth, and then he's like, "Roar!" and then you win. So,
Oh, all right.
but, yeah, little known secret, but just kidding. All right. So the next one, number 9 for me was Andros, his true form from Star Fox 64.
Oh man.
It's, like you sit there and you're fighting him when you first get in there. You're like, okay, blew up your hands, and then you shoot him in the face a few times, and then he blows up, and then he's this brain, and you're like, okay, whatever. And then you can go into this whole like all range mode, 360-degree movement. All of a sudden, his eyes are just chasing you like on little beams of electricity.
That was such.
And they like run into you, and
that was such an annoying fight. Such an annoying fight. Jesus Christ.
It was, and then like they bump into your wings, and oh, there's your wing. Oh, look, we're down to one laser. Congratulations.
Yeah, it wasn't fun, especially on 64, where I think you were punished if you lost. That was it. You had to restart, didn't you?
Yeah, didn't you have to fight his
Yeah, I
first
think-
form again if he kills you?
I don't know.
I think there was like an actual game over stage too,
Yeah,
where you like
there was
just
a game
lost.
over. If you're running out of lives, that's it. And then you have to restart the whole game again, I believe. The 3DS version, you actually get to continue from that spot because there's saves in it. But the
I actually played. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying the original Star Fox 64 was freaking beastly because you had to just play it in one setting because it didn't save, you know?
Yeah, dude. Like, I played the 3DS version, and it's just all over easy. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm like, man, kids will never know.
All right, well,
But yeah. So anyway, there's that, and a little escape afterwards. But number 8 for me was Virgil from the new DMC Devil May Cry. Just like how Chris was saying, he's impossible. He sits there and he's like, "Come at me, bro," and you're like, "Okay, bro, I will." And you just try to attack him, and he blocks everything.
is this the new one? The new?
The new Devil May Cry,
the reboot one where he's all emo looking and crazy.
I love it. It's a good remake.
Good game.
But
has rage qualities to it, though?
it kind of does, like, especially when you get to the higher difficulties. But yeah, Virgil is just impossible. It's like you have to try to wait for him to attack and then try to attack right after he attacks, but he does the same thing to you. So and then he switches up, like he learns like when you attack him and then switches his style. I don't know, it's impossible, especially on like higher difficulties. It's just frustrating. But okay, so number 7, was Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn from the new Mortal Kombat also. So that was another one on my list. I don't know, like just that guy. When I first played Mortal Kombat, I mean, granted, I suck at the game, but I really like it. It's a lot of fun. But I get scolded every day by my brother. I never win. But so I go through the story mode to try to get better skills, and then I had to actually stop because I just kept dying and dying and dying from this guy. And then someone was like, "Oh yeah, just do this move, and if you keep dying, he'll eventually get easier." Because I guess the game stops trolling you after you like die so many times. But yeah,
it didn't do that in the original version. I think that's the new updated version or something. Because
Yeah, it took me like 3 hours to beat him, and
I
that was
quit
with
on that
me
game.
being cheap and doing my projectile spam and stuff.
I just straight up quit on that game. I couldn't take it anymore. So.
Yeah, I had to do the little jump attack with the kick. Like the little I don't know, the typical ninja style kick.
Yeah.
But what really sucked
way I
about
could
that
beat
one
him.
was it makes you play as Raiden in the end. And I suck with Raiden.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, Shao Kahn. But okay, so number 6 for me was I don't know if you guys remember Phantasy Star Online, but Dark Falls in Ultimate mode. Dark Falls in Ultimate mode. Once you got to Ultimate mode in the game, it changed all the enemies except for him. Actually I think it's all the bosses, but so you go to fight this guy and you fight him the first time, he falls down and then he like separates his lower body, from his upper body, and then he takes you up into space and you're on this ring. And in Ultimate mode, he has a one-shot kills that automatically connects with you. There's no way to dodge it. And unless you had an insanely high amount of health, you would die instantly. So what you had to do is just like pack like the escape dolls, which is like a Phoenix down, for like Final Fantasy, for those that don't know the game. That would be all that you'd pack in your inventory besides like all the typical health stuff, and then you'd like spam your health spell. But yeah, the guy was impossible. And then he had this stupid move where he would make a duplicate image of your character and it would float above his head. So when you'd be like shooting him, to like kill him, it's like whatever damage you did, it immediately sends it straight to your health. And it's like you could like accidentally kill yourself at the same time if you weren't being smart. Yeah, I've done that a few times, and yeah. So
that was a teamwork effort for 4 people, right?
Yeah, and the only way I've ever beat him was by solo, and it was.
Oh, okay. You do solo too.
Oh man, that reminds me of the fish boss in that game. I should have put that one on my list.
Oh, yeah.
God, I hated him.
Yeah, I remember him like from the
sewer
or whatever. Yeah, he was pretty annoying. And number 5, it was Alec Trevelyan from GoldenEye 64. The guy was he ran around and all his little cronies came out and they're like, "Yo, what's up, man? I'm gonna shoot you dead." And you're like, "Awesome, come at me." And then you just die, and and then all the way, I don't know, just like he always runs away and he's like, "Yeah, your bullets don't hurt me." Yeah. And then finally you get down to the little bottom part and you can like, kind of creep around the corner, do the creep, and you're like, shoot him. And then finally he dies, and then it's just an anticlimactic, non-rewarding ending. It's just like, yeah, you got him.
That was a lot of 64 games, though.
That's true.
Hey, you beat the game! Yay!
Yeah, congratulations. But yeah, so that was, I don't know. I hated that boss battle. The Xena boss battle was pretty annoying too, but Alec Trevelyan. But number 4 for me, oh gosh, Borderlands 2, Handsome Jack. Like, I don't think he was annoying as a boss per se, but
we still haven't beat it, so
yeah, you just go through the whole freaking game. Just listen to him, rant and rave, and then he causes a bunch of trouble like later on in the game with like killing main characters, and you're like, dude, that guy was cool. I hate you, and then he's like, well, I hate you back.
Were you fighting him solo, or did you have a co-op partner?
I usually had a whole team with me, and he wasn't very hard to beat, but he was just one of those characters that's like, come on, just let me fight you already.
Because I could see that him being really, really hard if you were by yourself, and you know how they do it, like when you're by yourself, you respawn, far away, or it restarts or whatever. So
yeah,
I know that was the first game that did that, but
yeah, he was just, I don't know, like he was annoying. He didn't, the boss battle didn't come fast enough, because like he just always hid behind everything.
Okay. Huh.
And with that said, this also leads me to number 3, Voss from freaking Far Cry 3. I hate that guy with a passion. It's like the whole game, same exact thing, just killing all your dudes, oh, hey, your friend, your brother, oh, they're dead, I killed them. And then it's like, cool, now I'm going through the training, I the tiger, and getting trained up, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go kill this guy. This punk's dead. So you go to fight him, and then what's he do? He like knocks you out or something, and then you're like all stuck. Then you wake up, and he's like, oh, I got you, loser. You're so stupid. And then he like kicks you off a cliff or something, and then you're like, oh, I won't let that happen again. And then you go fight him again. He's like, I'm gonna cut your finger off, and you're like, oh yeah, here's my finger. And then you just don't fight him. You just,
that was the most Chris, I hate to tell you this when you actually play it. It was the most disappointing boss fight I've ever played on that. And it wasn't even a boss fight. It was just like the lead up was terrible. And that game had beautiful gameplay and it was fun, but some of the boss moments or the story moments pissed you off. So I could see where you're coming on that. Holy crap. Yeah. That should have been on one of my list somewhere, but oh well.
Yeah, I hate Voss.
Yeah, that was very disappointing. I think that was also disappointing part of the storyline, honestly. But oh well.
that was probably the one maybe the single like downer to that game.
Yeah.
Jeez, guys, now I have no reason to play this game.
Yeah, you really do, because he wasn't even a boss. He was just a part of the story technically.
Yeah.
So. But
yeah, so after that we have number 2 for me is Defend the Airship on BioShock Infinite. It's a mode. It's right before I think the final boss, and you're flying.
That was terrible.
Yeah, it's like you're going to this island, and I was playing the whole game. I think on like the second hardest difficulty to try to get like achievements, and I had to literally stop and bring it back down a level, and then I beat it. But it wasn't easy even dropping the difficulty. It was
I mean, that game even has a respawn thing on it, but they make it so freaking hard sometimes on some of those levels. I kept it on medium the whole way through. I'm interested to play that mission on 1999 mode.
Oh, dude!
Where if you die, that's it. That's it.
Time, yeah. It's bad.
Which intrigues me too. So.
Plus, like the whole game, like that particular mission, it's like if you fail, then it's like you have to restart. So it's like while you're trying to kill people that are like attacking your little core thing on the spaceship or the airship, it's like you're also trying to not get shot, and then also trying to shoot like all their boats and stuff that are up in the air, like shooting at you. It's a pain. It was
a very unenjoyable moment of that game. Honestly, it kind of made me not really not want to play, but it was different from all the other parts in the game I was at. But it was fun. Either way.
Elizabeth had to throw me lots of health a lot.
Yeah.
Are you done talking
But,
about Bioshock yet? I had to take off my headset because I didn't want to hear the ending.
Oh no, we
Oh,
weren't
yeah.
talking about the ending. No spoilers on there. That was just a fight before the ending, technically.
Okay.
So
But all right, so number one for me was every freaking boss in old school Mega Man games. Every freaking boss from Mega Man.
Every single one.
Yes, because remember before how you were mentioning one of the bosses. I think it was Sharkman, right?
The Mecha Dragon.
Okay, yeah, but yeah. So it was like
way to listen,
all
Mike.
these. So yeah, I know, right? But yeah, like all these bosses, it's like there'd be multiple times where it's like, okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna go, fight this guy with this brand new weapon that I just got from the prior boss. But the bosses have like a ton of health, and you have limited ammo with that special gun that you just got. And if you die, then they respawn you like right outside like where the area is. So you have like no ammo for that particular gun, and then you go march back in there trying to kill him, and it's like it's impossible. It's like you just can't win.
Huh.
Yeah.
well, yeah, Mega Man. There we go. You had a good list, and a lot of them you were naming off, but I still have a
you.
lot that none of you guys named off, which is awesome. Yeah.
Right, lay it on us, Mikey.
Okay.
Kill us.
Number 10, if we're going to count down to that like that. Okay. Star Fox 64, Andross. Last boss. Annoying as hell. We've already talked about this. It was incredibly difficult when I was a kid, especially on 64. I replayed it on 3DS, and good God, it was so easy. And then I realized that they made it easier on 3DS. So
Wow. I actually thought
And they changed all the voices, too.
Starwolf battle was harder.
Oh, really? I like that one. It was easy.
Star Wolf. Star Wolf.
Yeah, I was just
Anyway, I'm moving on. We already talked about this. Second, Metal Gear Solid 2, the Metal Gear Ray boss battle. I did not have much trouble when I was, whenever that game first came out. I think I was in 9th grade or 8th grade or something like that. 9th grade, I think. Somewhere around there.
high school.
And, dude, that Ray battle was so annoying. And following it was annoying Solidus battle, which sucked too. But the Ray battle was annoying because they just kept on coming at you. But it was not my top, like, I'm going to throw my control at the wall, battle. But it was damn hard. Even on that collection that I just recently played, it was still pretty hard. It was annoying compared to the rest of the game, It's like
that's a good
they
collection,
cranked up the difficulty for that just out of nowhere compared to all the other bosses in that Metal Gear Solid 2, It just kind of seemed like that to me anyway. But next up, Resident Evil 5, the final fight in the volcano with Wesker. I mostly thought it was hard because Chris and I couldn't cooperate correctly. No, I'm just kidding. I couldn't hold on to a cliff, I couldn't punch a rock, and then all of a sudden, oh God, what do we do? And then that was it. But it was really one of the most annoying fights in that game, and it still is in my head where I don't want to do it again because we did it on every difficulty except the hardest difficulty. Remember, Chris?
Yeah, we were trying to do professional, and we couldn't even get past the ship level. I think the dogs kept killing you.
No, we did get past that. I believe I thought it was a little bit past the dogs, like where the.
Oh no! We
came
got
up.
to the first Wesker fight, and then we were like done.
That's right. Yeah, we were done. We were done.
Always
Next
Shep's
up,
fault.
Deus Ex Human Revolution. Yelena, Fedora, or whatever her name, the Mantis, electricity boss, second boss battle in that game. I was playing,
Yeah.
and okay, a lot of people might say, hey, that wasn't that hard. They were on normal difficulty. I was on the hardest difficulty right from the beginning of that game. This is my first boss battle, or not first boss battle, but this is the boss battle I was playing on the hardest difficulty. She was annoying.
Yeah, I feel your pain on that one.
And if you were not prepared, which I wasn't, I didn't have claymores, I did not have stunning devices, it was the hardest fight I've ever fought in a video game. Almost hard, but it was one of the hardest.
Yeah, she was a pain in the ass on normal.
Yeah. Mike, you played it on the hardest difficulty, didn't you?
Yeah, I did the same thing you did. I started off on the hardest, and it's like she would go invisible and then just like stand there, and you're like, "Oh, I see you." She like just like shrugs it off, and she comes over to you and like punches you, and like I don't know.
I will.
Somewhere. But yeah, it's a good time.
I will vouch for Alan. You know, he struggled with this boss battle too. He was on the same difficulty as me because we were having a competition who could beat it first on the hardest difficulty. And Alan hated this boss too. And the second up for me on that game was what was that one boss that used the mannequins or whatever? I forgot what it was. The bodies.
The one who like kind of blinds you or something, and you
that was annoying, but it wasn't as bad as that one, the mantis. But next up, Max Payne. First game, not second or third. Max Payne 1. Jack Lapino's lair. Jack Lapino's lair. He was.
I don't remember that.
If you played Max Payne 1, I know Chris hasn't. But he was this psychotic gangster that had this satanic cult up in his club. And you had to go in there, and he would be talking about the flesh of fallen angels. I'm on cocaine. Or whatever drug it was. Anyway, it was a really, really annoying fight because all he would do is send his goons after you, and you would have to survive. And if you didn't have enough painkillers health, to proceed on with it, it made it so difficult. So you had to go through his endless waves. And then when you finally got to him, he was like, ha ha, Max Payne. And you just shoot him and he dies.
Yeah, I got to him. I haven't finished the game yet, but I do remember that fight.
That boss battle was annoying.
Don't those little henchmen just continue to spawn forever? Or do they stop at some point?
I think they stop eventually, but yeah, it was terrible, dude. I did get past it when I was a kid. It was harder when I was a kid, too, because it was a pretty difficult game. But next up on the list, Defiance. I know none of you have gotten to this boss, but it's the last boss, Nim Shinodu, or whatever it is. Weird. In-game story, or the current in-game storyline boss. He is literally one of the most... This is recent, and I wanted to throw a controller I didn't have in my hands. I wanted to throw my keyboard at the wall. He was so annoying, and it wasn't even a gear check. He was just like... You really had to dodge. If you didn't dodge and just tried to... Because most of that game you're played through and you just shoot things, right? It was the first boss. You actually had to sit there and dodge nonstop. And this was a 10 to 15 minute fight of just dodging, dude.
Wow.
It's terrible. But last boss on Defiance, I'm not going to spoil anything, but he was annoying. But he was one of those bosses, when you beat him, it was like, yes! Oh!
Take that, nature!
and then you do your little dance, and you're like, well, that was it? That was the end of the game? Well, crap. Next up, Uncharted 2, the last boss, Zoran Lazarevich.
Christ.
Yeah, you remember him, right?
Yeah.
Supernatural asshole. Well, dude, he explodes on you, and I raged so hard on the game.
He explodes on you.
He
I'm
was
just kidding.
all over the place.
Yeah, he doesn't even take you out to dinner or anything.
You start out pumping bullets into him, but he chases you around the map and like tries to kill you nonstop, and it's so annoying. It's so annoying. I couldn't even imagine playing him past normal, honestly. But that boss was really annoying. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. It makes me feel regret. No. No, it was Uncharted 2 is good, but when I got to that boss, it ruined the game for me, honestly. I hated that boss. It was just annoying. It took me 5 or 6 tries just to beat him, honestly. So
What number is that guy?
What do you mean? Oh, 7 on my list.
Wait, that was 7. Okay, gotcha.
Well, he's my 4th, technically.
Oh, okay.
There we go. 4. We're on my number 3 right now. This was hard. This is very hard. The Joker of Arkham Asylum.
Yep.
Literally, it was one of the most rage-fitting, I wanted to throw a tantrum on the ground boss battles. He was just cheap, and that's all it was about that game on that boss battle. Like, you went through most of the game fighting enemies and some of the bosses, and it was fun, but when you got to him, he was overpowered, he was cheap. Chris, do you remember that boss battle?
Yeah, I remember being just so upset. Not at how hard he was, but just at what he is as the last boss. Is
Oh, okay.
just that really, stereotype, last boss kind of
Okay,
thing.
you were mad at that. I was mostly mad at the difficulty because I was so pissed off. But there was a routine with him you had to learn. It took just a few times, but it was one of the most annoying fights I've ever fought. Number 2, all fighting game bosses. All of them. I'm talking every single one of them. And if anybody has been listening to this show, I hate fighting games. I literally hate them. And getting to that boss just I will break a controller in half over a freaking fighting game boss sometimes. Now, when I was a kid, maybe. No, dude, I hate every game boss on fighting games. At the very end, I hate them. I can't stand them.
Even Smash Brothers?
Okay. All fighting games except Smash Brothers.
There you go.
Master Hand is pretty annoying.
Yeah, Master Hand was annoying, but not too annoying.
Oh man,
I don't know,
You're just
man.
bad at fighting games, though, and
No,
I am
man,
too.
no.
Because you get mad at just playing against me
I am too,
sometimes.
No, but all fighting games. You said it was set. There's
Yeah,
just those
that's
end
definitely.
bosses that are just ridiculously overpowered to make you just no. This is stupid, and they always do that. Every fighting game they do that. So all fighting games, I stick to this. And this, I'm surprised, wasn't my first one technically, because it really bugs the hell out of me. Every game I play that's a fighting game, I can't stand it. But my number 1, and this is a game I have not beat yet, but I'm at the very last boss. Resident Evil Revelations. Jack Norman. Fuck that boss. Seriously, I'm so dude. I've never been more mad at a game. And this is the Wii U version. I haven't played the 3DS version, and he might be easier on the 3DS version. I don't know, but the way the Wii U does the controls on this game is pretty horrific anyway. But the from the beginning of the game till right before that final boss battle, the game was awesome. It was fun. I played it on medium settings. I was having a blast with it, and all the other boss battles were fine. I was like, okay, just kill this, do this. Oh, I see. You got to shoot this. You have to shoot the heart, the famous heart shooting thing, stuff like that. And then you get to him, and you have to shoot his heart, shoot his back, run around, dodge. You have to seriously. You can't get hit by him, or he kills you pretty much. And I don't even know how you could play it on Infernal mode on that game. I those people that can play Infernal mode on that game, good job. Seriously, you've just. I don't know. It's so annoying. It is one of those bosses I literally wanted. If it wasn't set for the expensive gamepad in my hands, it would have been snapped in half. Revelations is a great game. It's just that last boss has the difficulty curve of over 9,000 Goku. There we go.
Over 9,000.
Seriously, the game is fun until you get to that boss, and then it gets so annoying where you just want to put it down. You don't want to ever touch it again. And that's me. This is more of a personal battle. It's not because I suck at the game. It's because they made it so freaking difficult when I'm not even that good at Resident Evil games to begin with. But they made it so difficult where it made me want to I quit. I did quit. There we go.
If I get to him and I beat him on the first try, I'm just gonna laugh at you forever.
I know you would say something like that, but seriously, you're gonna see the game is fun. It's really fun, and he's gonna be annoying because you have to. There is a rhythm to him, but then he changes it up really, really fast, and you're not able to aim super fast because the sensitivity on the gamepad sucks balls. Actually, it sucks.
Is overly sensitive,
and it makes I can't. Maybe it's me not getting too used to the Wii U controllers, but it's just not fun. It really isn't fun. It's just it's the last one. It's the last boss that in my life that I've ever played in any game, even old school games, that I've up and quit because I'm done. I don't want to play it anymore. I don't care about the storyline at this point. So I'll try it again maybe one day. But until then, Resident Evil Revelations, you can suck it.
Suck it.
Next up is Alan's Tech Corner. All right, on today's Alan's Tech Corner, we have a discussion. No tech news, unfortunately. We'll try to do that next week. But I have a cool discussion I want to do. How has technology affected our life? And I'm talking about, in general, of us being a part of technology from when we were kids, playing video game consoles to having and owning computers, that kind of stuff, building computers. I've enjoyed technology since I was a kid. I started out on, I want to say, my NES, somewhere around there. And also my dad's old Apple computer that he had. Old Apple. I'm talking about in like end of the 80s and stuff like that. But I've kind of branched off of that, and I've always been around with computers for the most part. And even though I've owned consoles and stuff like that, where I really started to learn computers is when we first brought home our Windows 95 486 Packard Bell computer. And I think I've talked about this in the show before, but it's the memory I always go back to, that nostalgic computer memory where I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And my dad was very happy he brought that home. And I mean, he paid a lot of money for it, back then. And, early 90s. And it just kind of made me what I am today, I think. And I had that computer for a very long time. My dad got an upgrade. He's like, here, you get a computer now. So I got the old Packard Bell, and it was a 486. I got to play Monkey Island on it, all those.
So cool. I like that.
And I basically have learned from computers, and this is the stepping stones of who I am today and why we have a podcast about technology too, somewhat, because I focus a lot on computers. Chris knows that. I mean, I haven't really helped build your computer, but I told you kind of what you need on some things. And Mike, I know you've built computers for a long time, haven't you? Your family's kind of into that, aren't they?
I think I started building computers when I was like 15. What happened was it was I think around like 2001 ish.
Yeah.
And I remember I was getting pretty close to being a teenager, and all of a sudden Morrowind came out, like the Elder Scrolls 3.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to play this on the computer, so my friend's like, "Hey, here's this graphics card. Just throw it in there." And he was real good at building computers, but he had to like go away to do something. But I remember I tried to fit the graphics card in there, and wasn't the right socket type. So got into socket types, and then couldn't get the drivers installed because it wasn't the right operating system. It was Millennium Edition. But
boy, you young.
Yeah. So yeah, it was good times. But that's I think what got me into it. And then after I started figuring everything out, like just like how you said, like where your dad had an old computer and then he kind of passed it down to you. When I was writing a book that I was, making, I had an old, I think it was a 98 computer from like IBM, and same exact story. It only had like I think like a 20 gig hard drive.
Oh, 20 gig hard drives. I'm trying to think. I think the Packard Bell had like either a gigabyte of hard drive space or something like that. I don't even remember.
Had like 256, like for RAM.
16.
Remember when that was a lot?
Yeah. Now I have like 16 gigs.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, as we progress on, I think technology is it's funny. We had a podcast a couple episodes ago where we kind of reflected on how technology has kind of ruined our lives in some ways and what we could do to prevent that. But I would have nothing else but had technology intertwine itself into my life because I've enjoyed it so much. And learning a computer, I have the skills a lot of people don't have. A lot of people look at a computer like, duh, how do I do that? And it drives me nuts is because, computers are very simple to learn, and especially building. It's not just building, it's learning the programs and how, they function and what to do to clear space. It's just because your computer won't turn on doesn't mean that you have to just completely throw away your computer and buy another one. I tinker with it and I fix it. Normally it's the hard drive or the power supply or there's a memory stick going bad or whatever,
And
so
how to like not download every antivirus / helper PC thing, Mom.
But I mean, technology has really, really helped me out, and I'm continually getting better at it, or worse, I want to say. I haven't been going all out like I used to when I was a teenager and, 20s, early 20s. So I now I'm just kind of like floating. I know enough to keep on going. I know how to fix stuff. But there's some people, friends that I taught that are now progressing above me. Like they know more stuff than me, and I think that's great. And maybe that makes me want to learn more as well. But as of now, I've just kind of am that set still where I need to still learn a little bit more about the new stuff that's coming out. I mean, Mike, you know actually a lot more than me with PC system setups, like how to build them a little bit more efficiently, I guess. So
Yeah, I tried to stay a little bit into it.
Yeah.
I will admit, like, there's some stuff out there. Like, I'm actually helping a friend of mine right now. They're actually expecting their baby like any day, but his reenlistment day is coming up pretty soon, and he gets a big like reenlistment bonus. So he's like, dude, I want to build my own computer. Tell me what I need, and then he'd send me like a billion different parts and stuff. And I didn't even realize that they now make what do you call it, motherboards that take both Crossfire for two like AMD or ATI cards.
yeah.
And it's also the same thing for the SLI cards for like NVIDIA. Like it's just one, what do you call it? One motherboard that
See,
does both.
those have been out for a while. I knew about those, but they're very expensive.
Yeah. So it's like that was a new thing for me to learn. And he found it, and he was like, "Hey, would this do either or?" And I was like, "No, that's impossible. You noob." And then I looked at it, and I was like, "Wait, oh."
Well-
And then it was fun.
Well, Chris, where did you begin with technology technically? Mostly computers, I'm asking you, not just consoles or anything like that. But
Yeah.
where did you start getting an interest in PC, learning and keeping sure that you know what's going on your system?
Well, I've always had, well, not always, but from probably 8th, 9th grade on, I've always had a computer, like mostly for, like I would use it for gaming, and then the rest of the family would use it for whatever the hell they do. And I didn't get my own specific, tailor-made for gaming computer until probably 11th, 12th grade.
Well, shoot, you had dial-up until 10th grade, wasn't
Yeah, back when dial-up was still a thing.
it? Yeah, but I had cable at the time.
Yeah. Cable was expensive back then.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, around that time is when I started kind of getting into how computers work and stuff, and like how to build them.
Mhm.
But even then, like I knew how to upgrade RAM and stuff like that. But it wasn't until I went to Korea a few years back, and then I started trying to rebuild everything completely from scratch.
I remember
And,
I got a horde of questions from you.
Yeah, I had my netbook off to the side, and I called you up on Skype, like, what did I do wrong? It won't turn on. And
I had to troubleshoot.
You tried to turn it off and on again.
You're the
Yeah.
only person I would do that for, Chris. I'm just saying. I swore off helping people build computers, but you were a different story. So
yeah, I think the problem it ended up being like there was the tiniest little thing that I forgot to connect or something.
You did not have the main power to the board. The four-prong. I forgot what it is, but it was a four-prong pin at the very top of your motherboard. You didn't plug it in. I
Yeah,
don't think.
just
And it
the
wouldn't-
tiniest thing, easy to overlook, and
Yeah.
there it was, and it cost me probably 4 or 5 hours trying to figure this crap out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But I was
after
proud
that,
of you, man. You built your own computer in Korea without any real help, honestly, which
Yeah.
is really cool. So
and after
Nice.
that,
That's
I got the the tinkering bug, and I started wanting to upgrade my stuff like all the time.
must upgrade even though I don't need to.
Yeah.
What? This game lags? New video card.
Basically, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much where the whole tinkering bug started with me.
Yeah, computers are a big influence in society today. I just don't think enough people are wanting to learn exactly what they do or how to fix their own issues. A wire could have got like I had a friend that said my computer doesn't work, and he just moved. So the move, they always tell you to check every wire, check your video cards and your memory, and take them out and put them back in, like in order to make sure nothing goes wrong. But something like a wire shook out in his move, and he nothing would work. And he was about to just buy a new computer. That's it, I told him, I was like, check all your wiring, man. Make sure everything's plugged in. Well, how am I supposed to know that? And he eventually learned. So it was cool. But I think a lot of societies like that, where it's like, if something doesn't work, it's broken completely. We just have to throw it out. And normally with computer builds, if it's not a all-in-one PC, as long as it's a tower, you can fix it yourself normally. So
yeah, my wife actually had that same problem as your friend when we moved here. Like her computer would turn on, but we wouldn't get any kind of picture, and we were trying to figure that out for a while. And then I think I called you up about that too. And then you're like, "Hey, you got to try reseating all your stuff." And so I took out all the RAM and the video card and put it all back, and it worked.
Well, the reason I know that is because I had someone had it happen, before you. I've had it happen a few times of different people telling me. But I mean, you got to learn how to take care of your hardware on PCs and in technology in general. Take care of your technology, like your Xbox and your PlayStation. There's little fans in there in the back. Get a canned air and blow out the fans, and just make sure it's clean.
Don't vacuum your PC.
Don't vacuum your PC. There was an episode for that. I forgot what episode it was.
I remember that. Yeah.
Don't vacuum your PC. Pro tips from us.
If you do, a monster will come and kill you, and it will not be fun.
It'll be the double mics for Hitman. Did you know that? But I mean, technology.
You never go double mic.
Computers have really inspired me to progress on with a lot of stuff, and I want to continue learning. And I hope our listeners will, try to learn. When I tell you that you need to do this, I don't want you coming back a week later asking the same thing over and over again. I have some friends like that. You know who you are. If you're listening to me, learn it. Stop asking me questions. Stop asking anybody questions. You need to learn it for yourself.
Yeah, every time I go home to visit family, I have to fix my grandmother's computer because she can't figure out how to get her pictures onto her from the camera. And
yeah,
I showed you this last time.
Yeah, but our younger generation's still not learning as much. It's like, okay, we get told this, and then it goes out the other side of their head. Just it's gone.
Yeah.
Again, and they come back with you a month later with the same issue. It's like, dude, I told you not to do that. So,
yeah, I think most of them are just they're used
lazy?
to buying well, yeah, that too. But they're used to the consoles. You buy them and they just work right out of the box.
It's not
and
even
you don't gotta
for
really
it's not even
troubleshoot
for
'em.
PC gaming though. It's for just computers in general.
Yeah.
It's just I don't think people want to learn it, and they need to. So I'm gonna leave it with that. You need to learn how to use computer. No, that sounds mean. You need to learn how to use a computer. But
Seriously, you need to learn.
all right, guys. I know what I'm doing this weekend, and it's Breaking Bad. Go figure.
Yeah, you probably will finish the show by the end of the weekend.
Hopefully. I don't have that many episodes left.
Yeah,
I need to actually start watching that show.
Yes, you do.
you've not watched it?
I haven't. I was super late getting into like The Walking Dead and that show, a bunch of shows. Like I don't know, pretty much any TV.
Watch
show.
Breaking Bad. You'll like it. It took so long for me to watch it too, so I know how you are with that.
Really, if you've got nothing else going on, you could watch the entire show over the weekend.
Maybe that's a lot of hours, dude. They're like an hour.
Like I said, if you've got nothing else to do for the entire weekend, and it's a 3-day weekend too, Columbus Day.
Hey,
So,
Hey, I gotta work.
Heyo.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I was bummed too. I was like, no.
Oh, Chris, what are you gonna be doing?
I'm probably going to be grinding on Magic, unlocking cards on my decks.
Yeah, Magic.
And
Seriously, I gotta get that game.
yeah,
GTA Online, maybe finally.
maybe.
Hopefully.
I hear it works now. We
Yeah.
might have to try it.
Couple
actually.
patches.
Yeah.
Oh, and Damned. We will play Damned.
Yes, we will.
This is gonna be awesome. I
Yes.
can't wait.
Okay, so Damned. We're playing that. All of us. That's our weekend.
Yeah.
plans.
I'll be damned if I'm not playing Damned.
Well, that's the end of our show. I want to do a couple shout outs, or one shout out at least. Starbound. Have you heard of that game? No? It is cool. Go to playstarbound.com and you'll find out what it's about. It's a very cool indie game. You can support it while it's developing, and they have a daily blog at night updating you what they're doing with the game. So that's my shout out. You can follow me at mbufftes on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm the C-Stu-T-E-S.
And I don't think Mike has a Twitter. That's okay though.
I'm too cool for Twitter.
Maybe
I'm too cool for Twitter.
maybe one day. You can like us on Facebook, subscribe to our iTunes and YouTube. Also join our Steam group by sending me an email because it is locked down still. it's going to continue being locked down. So if you want to join it, message me. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you next time. Subscribe.
Do it. It's good for you. You will subscribe.
Next up is Taco Attack.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.